Hello, welcome to the Honest Wargamer. I'm your host, Rob. And if you're a fan of rats, you're going to be pretty hyped today. Games Workshop is going through its Ghyran content, which every single day, or we're not sure about weekends yet, they're going to be releasing new updates for different Age of Sigmar factions. The first one is Skaven, and it's super exciting because these are going to be match play legal for the next year. Now, I would say that having been in Age of Sigmar since the very beginning, the fact that your battle tome is less than a year old and you're getting additional content for it is pretty massive in Warhammer terms, Games Workshop terms, and Age of Sigmar. We have seen them doing this quite a lot on their community site. We've seen them doing it for 40k. We obviously saw some Regiments of Renown that were also released at Christmas. But the fact that you, as a Skaven player, are now going to be getting a bunch of new stuff to expand out your army, which I think is really exciting because a lot of people have been a little bit down on the list writing not being that exciting, the unit choices not being that exciting, etc., etc. So more choices, more content, and more quality stuff coming out of Games Workshop for armies is great. Talked about that on a previous video. The fact that we've got Skaven right now, fantastic. So let's go and have a look at it. First thing, and this is cool, we've got two new battle formations. So if you're new to Skaven or if you're new to Age of Sigmar and this is the thing that jumped in, a battle formation is a special thing that you write on your army list. It's kind of like your narrative clan. It's your narrative sub-faction that you choose and it gives you special abilities for your whole army. There are 4 in the main book. Now we've got 2 more. So we're going to get 6, which is fun. It also means the Skaven armies that you're playing against may be more diverse as well, which is also great for the health of the game. Good for your local gaming community. It's good for playing at events. It's generally really healthy. Okay, so the 2 that we've got are the Envoys of the Deep Gnaw and the Gathering of the Clans. The first one, the Envoys of the Deep Gnaw, has a passive called Will of the Horned Rat. While a friendly Skaven Demon unit, so Skaven and Demon are keywords that you see located at the bottom of War Scroll. That War Scroll, those War Scrolls, like Skaven Demon ones, are normally your Vermin Lords. So you've got your Vizek, you've got your Warpseer, you've got your Corruptor, the big cool Skaven rats, the big models. So while a friendly Skaven Demon is within the combat range, which is 3 inches of a friendly non-hero Skaven infantry unit, so that'll probably be your clan rats, but it might not be. That Skaven Demon has a 4-up ward save. Now, normally they already have a 5-up ward save. Normally have a 5-up ward save. So you're going to say to yourself, it's not that impressive. Actually, it's pretty good, especially when you can take multiple Vermin Lords. Now you're going to be improving all of their ward saves from a 5-up to a 4-up, as long as they're near the Skaven infantry unit. Also, if you do pass a successful ward save, you pass that damage on as a mortal damage to the Skaven infantry unit. Now, clan rats are kind of perfect for this because they bring D3 back at the end of each turn. So that's a really nice way of just taking some damage on them. It's going to be hard to shoot them off, basically. But also, when you get into combat, it's going to be tough to deal with them as well. They have a 4-up save base, apart from Vizek. So all-out defense, 3-up, 4-up. That's a very survivable rat. The rats also are really fun. I'm going to be making another video about some fun builds tomorrow, next day. But you've also got a bunch of ways that the rats with heroic traits and artifacts can just scurry away out of combat. So you've got a lot of real fun options here for making a really dynamic and very movement-based army. But in this version, very survivable. With the Gathering of the Clans, you get an ability called Backstabbing Allies. This is once per turn across the army, and you declare the redeploy command, which is in your opponent's turn. After they've done all their movements, you can pick one of your units and can move up to D6 inches in any direction. Cost you a command point. But they can do a redeploy command for friendly Skaven unit. What happens is you pick up to 2 other friendly Skaven units that are not in combat and are wholly within 13 inches of that unit using redeploy. Command to be the targets. Each target must have at least one of the following keywords. Well, it's just a list of keywords. After the redeploy command has been resolved, each of the targets can immediately use the redeploy command in order of your choice without any command points being spent. So it doesn't sound really strong on paper, but actually you could do a lot of really clever stuff. You could redeploy a unit. You can redeploy a unit away from an enemy that wants to charge it and redeploy a much more fighty unit right next to the enemy, Stormfiends as an example, near the unit that they're trying to charge. You can kind of do like a bait and switch, which is fun. Just move stuff onto objectives, move stuff into different places they weren't expecting, move places to deny battle tactics. It's quite a broad range, 13 inches. You could do some really cool stuff with this. Let's also not forget that with Skaven, you've also got this main ability in the main army book, the battle trait, called 3 claw steps ahead, which is moving your opponent's turn. If you take a warp seer, you're able to do a little bit more movement. So you can really be very dynamic. And as I've said previously, there's also artifacts and other stuff, as well as wizards and assassins that can jump around the board, and gnaw holes. So you've got the opportunity to be very mobile and have a very fun game state. Will someone just run over and try to fight twice with Varangard? Maybe. Okay, but this might give you a lot of opportunity to just nip around the board and be a very dirty, sneaky rat, which is cool. So I think both of them are good. They open up options. You can go for a more Vermin Lord-based build. You can go for a more movement-based build. Both excellent. Next up, we have 3 new heroic traits. These are something that you write down on your army list for one of your heroes. It can't be a unique hero like Thanquol, but it can be like a generic one. So like you kind of build your own special character. There are 3 great ones here, actually. Well, there's 2 great ones. Normally in a book, there's sometimes 0. And 3 is double the amount that you had in your battle tome, which you paid real actual money for. So they've given you the same amount here for free. So it's actually a pretty exciting time. All right, so the 3 that we're looking at, right? Devious Underling is done in the deployment phase. You pick a friendly Skaven hero on the battlefield with a health characteristic that equals or exceeds this unit, because you're going to put this effect or this ability on a character on your army list. So let's, I don't know, we're going to pick ourselves a Greyseer, okay? Then you're going to pick another Skaven hero with health that's equal to or higher. And then for the rest of the battle, while the target has not been slain, friendly Skaven infantry units have a 6-up ward save while they're wholly within 13 inches of this unit. So now we pick another big hero. That guy is going to give a 13-inch bubble of a 6-up save to Skaven infantry. We already know that there's some really strong lists in Age of Sigmar 4 with lots of different clan rats. But even if you're not doing clan rats and you're doing storm fiends, which are Skaven infantry, if you're doing rat boys or rat ogres, but I like to call them rat boys, 6-up ward save for all of those is good because you've got a lot of wounds, or a lot of health, sorry, a lot of health on those. And obviously the economies of scale work super well. Once the target has been slain, however, so once the character that you've picked is slain, you can add 2 to the charge rolls for friendly Skaven infantry units while they're wholly within 13 inches of the little character that you've put it on. And +2 charges is also super good as well. Don't forget, you've got an army that likes to teleport around, get +2 inches to your charge. Very fantastic. So that's really nice because it's really going to give you the opportunity to build into different list styles, which I think is fun. Even potentially get that big character slain so you can get the +this to charge. All right. So then you've got in your hero phase, the next one we've got is Flesh Melder, which is done in your hero phase. You pick a friendly Molder unit. Molder is a keyword located at the bottom. So that's going to be your rat boys or rat ogres. Sorry, there's also going to be your storm fiends, but it's also going to be something like your hell pit. However, your hell pit's only got companion weapons, so the next effect isn't going to affect it. So be careful of that. Companion weapons can't be improved unless a rule states otherwise on their attack profile. So go read those. Anyway. You pick a friendly Molder unit holding in 13 inches, pick one of the target's melee weapons, and add 1 to the rend characteristic of that weapon for the rest of the turn. That's why I like rat ogres. +1 rend, they already generate a lot of extra attacks as well. There's a lot of ways to get like extra attacks on rat ogres. More rend is also really good as well. Punch through armor quite nicely. It's probably the weakest of the 3 here. Now, the most fun one is the Pit Tinkerer. This is absolutely brilliant. I got to go over to Northern Ireland about, I'm going to say 6 years ago. I took a mainly Doom Wheel list. Running Doom Wheels is something everyone has always wanted to do. With the release of the new Doom Flayers and this ability, Pit Tinkerer, you might be able to actually build one of the most fun lists ever. We're definitely going to build that in a separate video. So Pit Tinkerer, you can re-roll the random characteristic rolls for the move characteristic for any Scryer War Machines where they're wholly within 13 inches of this unit. Already good. In addition, each time a friendly Scryer War Machine wholly within 18 inches of this unit uses the Rolling Doom or Whirling Doom ability, you add 1 to the amount of mortal damage. So let's just take a moment to quickly talk about that. So Doom Flayers here, you can see they move 2d6 times 3. So it's going to be 2d6 re-rolling. So it's probably going to take you from a 7 to a 9 on that roll, which is going to give you like an average move of about 12 inches. And obviously you can still charge after. But Whirling Doom is, if you do complete a charge with a unit of Doom Flayers, what's going to happen is you roll a d3 on a 2+, you inflict an amount of mortal damage equal to the roll. So you're either going to do 2 or 3 mortals. However, what's really exciting is with this new like pit leader, a little jockey in the pit, you're now going to do between 3 and 4 mortal damage on the charge, right? Which is brilliant. And here's what's really exciting. This Whirling Doom ability is not locked to once per army. So you can take loads of different units of Doom Flayers, and they only cost 130 points for 2. Now, it's fair to say, and just like I've said in the kind of previous video, with these rules only existing a year, you can get really excited and decide you're going to go out and buy 10 boxes of Doom Flayers and run around like a lunatic. And that's incredibly exciting. But that might only last for a year. But for me personally, at least mentally, that's an incredible image. Like, get some little goggles, get him on top of like a barrel of oil, and have like this whole running around army is so cool. And that's what I've wanted to see from Games Workshop for a long time. I've wanted to see them make it so that a rule adds to a theme. You can build a theme. Other people call it spam. I call it a theme. Hobby up some wacky racers, Doom Flayers, and go have a great time. So 2 good ones. Devious Underlings, probably very, very good, especially for the armies that are taking like 108 clan rats. Pit Tinker are very fun because you get to build wacky race rats. So we also have got 2 alternative War Scrolls. So both War Scrolls, the Gracier and the Brood Terror, have another version inside the book. They're not replacing them. You can take one or the other in your army. And you cannot have 2 Brood Terrors, one that's the alternative and one that's the one from the book. You would have to have 2 from the book or 2 alternatives, whichever way you wanted to pass it, which is fun. Now, the Gracier and Screaming Bell is excellent. Also, it's had a points reduction as well. It's 310 points, which is cheaper than the main version in the book. It's got pretty much the same profile. 15 health, 4 up save, 5 up ward save, and it's a wizard level 2, which is pretty good for 310 points. It's got some okay combat, like 6 attacks at damage 2 with a crushing bulk, +1 on the charge. But where it really sings is as a support piece for your army. And oh boy, is it good. So the first thing we're going to look at is the passive. The bell tolls. If the current battle round or number is odd, Age of Sigmar is broken. A game of Age of Sigmar is broken up into 5 battle rounds. You can add 2 inches to the move characteristic of friendly Skaven units while they're wholly within 13 inches of this unit. So this means turn 1, your Skaven army is 2 inches faster, which is really, really, really good. Also, because it adds 2 inches to your move characteristic. Shout out to Gareth for pointing this out. That also means, in addition, that the 3 claw steps ahead ability that you have is going to add 2 inches to it as well. So with a Warpseer, you're potentially going to, because you move in your opponent's turn with that ability, you can do some really fun stuff, shutting down enemy battle tactics and other stuff there that they're not going to see come in, which is very, very cool. So it's very, very clever. And again, if we combo this with those new battle formations, potentially have using more redeploys that we want to, or have our big guys moving a little bit faster forward, our Vermin Lords, all excellent. It doesn't add to redeploy, but redeploy is another movement mechanic. This is adding to your movement mechanic. You're just doing a lot of movement-y stuff, which also this unit is also going to help with, because you also have the Gnaw Through Reality spell. Cast on a 6. When you cast it until the start of your next turn, which is a great duration. So it's the turn you cast it, maybe the next turn. Don't forget, you can also cast spells in your opponent's turn as well, which could really mess them up. This unit counts as a friendly Gnaw Hole for the purposes of Gnaw Hole Ambush, Tunnel Through Reality, and the Endless Vermintide ability. So now you've got the ability to bring models back, teleport them around the board, adding to more of the movement and control of the board state, which I really think Skaven do excel at. They're kind of like what Khorne were. It's kind of like a Murder Us conversation where it's a lot about movement control and also like doing stuff your opponent isn't really expecting. So that's great, and it's a spell, and it's a 2-cast wizard as well. Obviously, that's really effective for being able to do manifestations, etc., etc. Lastly, they have another ability, which is once per turn at the end of any turn, Echoes of the Vermin Doom, okay? Oh, no, I missed something. I'm so sorry, because I was just talking about the movement. The Bell Tolls ability has another thing that happens. when you're not in an odd battle round, you go into an even battle round, obviously. And if the current battle round is even, so turns 2 and 4, subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks made by enemy units that target a friendly Skaven unit while it's wholly within 13 inches of this unit. -1 to hit in AoE is massive, especially if we go up and we take our battle formation. So now we're giving everyone a 6-up ward save. They're missing more hits. We're saving more on 6s. You can put a lot of health on the board in Clan Rats. That's a massive problem for the enemy. That's a really, really good ability. And Battle Round 2, Battle Round 4, Battle Round 2 and 3, you're going to do a lot of fighting, but Battle Round 2, probably you'll do a lot of fighting. That's going to give you a lot of opportunity to shut them down. Very, very cool. And lastly, they've got this other ability, Echoes of the Vermin Doom, where at the end of any turn, which does mean the end of every turn, you pick a friendly Skaven unit holding within 13 inches of this unit to be the target and heal D3. Now, that's going to come in really well if you decide to go for more of those Vermin Lords, and you decide to have Vermin Lords with a 4-up ward save, because heal D3 to multiple different Skaven units wholly within 13 inches. That's good. You can use rallies. You can get a monster Vermin Lord that's already tough to kill because it might be -1 to hit. It might be all-out defense. It's got a 4-up ward save because we've taken it a battle formation and now we're healing it D3. That's stonky and can be very, very fun. So this is a great version of the Screaming Bell. I think we've wanted to see something like this. Could become a real linchpin in an army, but it doesn't feel like it's mandatory. It just feels like it's very effective. It's very nice to see. The next War Scroll update is the Brood Terror. I'm not super in love with the Brood Terror in the Skaven book. People have run it though, and people have run it successfully in both the Army of Renown for Skaven and also in the main book. I just don't think it's personally very good. This Brood Terror, they've added a survivability, which is definitely a problem in that it's now got a 5-up ward save. And it's also 20 points cheaper than the other version. So 5-up ward save now, with 12 health, 5-up save, 5-up ward save, move 6 inches. But the important part is also at the end of any turn, which is the end of every turn, it heals D6 as well. And if it was near our Grey Seer on Screaming Bell, it'd be D6 and D3 as well. So you could really just have this alive to dead, nearly dead or to all the way alive again. Real question is, what's the purpose of the Brood Terror? And I would say that for the 200 and X points that it costs, I think it's 250. It's meant to be a combat piece, and it's pretty lacking as a combat piece. This version has got 2 extra attacks on its loosely attached bladed limbs, which is the attack profile you can see just above my head. 4s and 4s, rend 1, damage 2. And then it's also got a chain flare, which is 5 attacks, 4s and 2s, rend 2, damage 3. But unfortunately for its points cost, I think there are much better combat pieces out there in this book. You're halfway to a really good Vermin Lord in that situation. So for me, I'm not super keen on it, but people are. Maybe go to someone else who's keen on Brood Terrors for your Brood Terror love. It's not for me. They do have another ability, though, called Lend a Claw, where once per turn army in any combat phase, you can pick up to 4 other friendly non-Scryer Molder units. That's just saying don't use Storm Fiends. Wholly within 12 inches. Subtract 1 from the attack characteristic of this unit's loosely attached bladed limbs, which is good because they're useless anyway. And for the rest of the phase, each target can add +1 to hit rolls to target's attacks for the rest of the phase. Now, this could also work really well in Thanquol's mutated menagerie, the Army of Renown, potentially to use this on some units. Also, we know we can get +rend up above if we wanted to get ourselves some rat ogres or rat boys to get +rend. Now they're getting plus to hit on multiple different places. That could be really fun. But for me, it's nowhere near as running a bunch of wacky Racer Doom flayers. So that's what I'm going to pick. So that is everything from our first of these Ghyran updates. I got to say, I'm pretty happy with that. Age of Sigmar 4 rules writing has not been very dynamic. Like, it really hasn't. And definitely there's been a lot of copy and paste. You know, when you ask yourself, how do I identify my Skaven army? Like, well, it's a kind of clan that at the end of each turn, up to 3 units pile in and do D3 mortals. You know, there's no narrative conjunction between the rules and what they, and what Skaven do. And there's been a lot of copy and pasting around. Ultimately, also, and this is really important, all of this is free, which is wild from Games Workshop. Absolutely wild. So it's free. So like already great. But actually also, looks like some thought was put into most of it. Like the Brood Terror is a no. I would say that when I heard about this, I was really pumped and I was really excited. And I wasn't really expecting them to be able to, the application wouldn't be like 11 out of 10. It's, you know, it feels like a little bit of a win more. You know, we now know that clan rats are good and you can do more clan rats, but there's definitely rat ogres can definitely get like a little uptick here, which I think is really good. They haven't done anything to do with shooting, which is good because I think a lot of people find shooting, you know, the egregious amount of shooting that Skaven can do a little bit over the top. So it's nice that they went another way with it, which I think is cool. Being able to lean more into the Vermin Lords is good. Also leaning more into the movement shenanigans that Skaven has is also, I think, really cool as well. So I really like that. I think that's really fun. Getting an update for the Greyseer is very cool on Screaming Bell. It's a classic, iconic model, and I think now it definitely plays in a different way, and that's really fun. And it's really, like I said in the previous video, it's nice that if you are someone who already has a Greyseer on Screaming Bell and you kind of liked what it did before, but now you've like, oh, it's going to do a different job in the army. It's painted, it's ready to go. That's fun. And I'm going to say, yeah, like 9 out of 10. Like getting free rules that make the game more interesting is wild shit that I probably was never expecting. This won't be my conclusion for every single one of these because this is the first one. But yeah, like that's really exciting for the community, especially if these are going to come out every day. That's so fun. Like the Skaven players will be like jumping up and down and having loads of fun, putting the cheese down, you know, climbing out their holes, whatever they're going to do. And this is really fun. And like, this is what Games Workshop should be doing to their player base. They should be invigorating them. They should be giving them content that makes them want to go buy models. Do I want to go buy more rat ogres now? Yes. Do I want to brew terror still? No. But it makes me more excited. Do I want to go buy loads of Doom Flayers? Absolutely. So I think that's good. And I did make this video. I said, I think we're in for a brat summer. I think that they know that they fucked up on launch. They knew it was a bit dry. Whichever of the rules guys that's just like, you know, dry white toast. They've taken him out for a curry and they've like spiced him up a little bit. They've said, listen, you need to make things that are fun. And that's good. So a rat summer, a brat summer. I like this. Let me know in the comments below. I hope you've enjoyed these videos. Helping me make these videos by supporting me on Patreon is super good. If you get a chance, I'd love that. Thanks very much. I'll see you soon. Bye.